You've collected your crew, you've found your intergalactic soulmate, and you've made your choices. Now it's time to finish the fight. We're talking about Mass Effect 3. What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3VO, where we're all on the same team. I'm one of your hosts today, Jordan.
And I'm your other host, Brenden.
And if you're new here, we are just two big old nerds that love video games, and we love to tell you and share our love for video games and everything we think that makes them great. So if you too love video games as much as we do, this is definitely the show for you. Today, we're going to be talking about the final chapter in the Mass Effect trilogy, Mass Effect 3, but before we jump into that, let's do a quick check-in. Brenden, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, sir?
I've had a pretty good day. It's been pretty chill. It's been pretty relaxed.
I can imagine why, because it's your birthday.
It is my birthday today.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a better way to spend my birthday than sitting here talking about one of my favorite games.
I'm so glad. I am so glad that you I'm glad that we're doing all of this, and I'm glad that you're enjoying spending your birthday doing this with me. I think it's a pretty cool way to spend your birthday. I hope that I get to spend birthdays doing this too. So
Same here. Hopefully we can celebrate the same way whenever yours comes back around.
Yeah. Well, a very happy 3VO birthday to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And as a gift for myself, I bought myself the Mass Effect Legendary Edition today.
Very nice
So,
and appropriate.
For pre-order, it's not out yet, but
Yes, and that's why we're bringing this episode to you now when we are, because we wanted it to be out in time for the Mass Effect Trilogy Legendary Edition, so that you can listen to all of our episodes about all of the Mass Effect games and then be ready to play it when it comes back out.
go in fully prepared, fully ready, because as everyone knows, we've covered everything in excruciating detail. We've left nothing uncovered. We've gone through everything so much. It's been a very critical, harsh eye on the original trilogy. So
Very, very critical.
now that all the pleasantries are out of the way, let's go ahead and just jump into what we're here to talk about. Let's talk about Mass Effect 3. So Mass Effect 3 is the third installment in the action RPG series. It's the final fight for the survival of humanity against the Reapers. Before we go any further, massive spoiler warning. This is the yes, the sound the alarms. This is the last game in the trilogy. We will be talking about DLC, plot important details. We'll be talking about the ending in some detail here. So if you have not played Mass Effect, any of the Mass Effect games, especially Mass Effect 3, this is definitely the time you want to jump out of the podcast, go play, and then come back once you're done, because we are going to be going into stuff. Also, before we get into it, I personally want to address some slight issues with the game, some overall broad stroke stuffs, and this is not something I blame on Casey Hudson or any of the development team or BioWare itself. This is a much bigger distributing issue, I feel like, but we understand, me and Brenden have talked about this personally, that we understand that when Mass Effect 3 first came out, it definitely wasn't a full game. There were some aspects missing. The ending definitely didn't feel complete, and especially once you throw in patches and DLC, that's what makes the game feel more complete. However, I do still believe firmly that a lot of the early on criticisms for Mass Effect 3 are somewhat unjustified, because I do think that a lot of people didn't kind of get the overall theme of what the game was trying to say, which ultimately it begs the question of, what are you willing to do to save the galaxy? So, now with all that out of the way, let's jump into that and talk about that. Now that I've thrown that big question out there, let's just talk about that, Brenden. Let's just go and jump into that, shall we?
Well, I wanted to ask, actually, and maybe some of our listeners would be interested. I played the game Mass Effect 3 much later after it had been dropped. So I was kind of somewhat familiar with, it didn't have all of this, that, the other when it originally came out. But maybe you could speak on it a little bit and just kind of refresh my memory. What exactly was missing from the game when it came out initially?
Yeah, just about all the DLC. So From Ashes DLC, where you actually get the Prothean crewmate, the The Leviathan DLC wasn't there. The Citadel DLC wasn't there. And the extended ending wasn't there. So for those who don't know, and for those who don't remember when the game first came out, you have your final charge against the Reapers at the end, in which you're just trying to get up into the final. You're essentially trying to get back up into the Citadel main, in order to finalize the essentially whatever it is that Shepard thinks is going to happen. Like a part of what I love about it is that you don't totally know exactly what this thing is going to do.
Yeah,
it's like, of what the catalyst is going to do when you activate it. You're just going like, hopefully it fixes everything. We're just going to see what happens. I don't know. But for that moment when you're making your final charge there to get to the essentially the portal that puts you back up in there, you're being attacked on all sides. You're getting hit on every side. And then you have that one hit from the Reapers that blast down with a big laser blast. And then you see your two crewmates. And then you get up and you see your two crewmates off to the side just sort of lying down flat. And then you get up and you make that final walk towards the thing. And then you have everything with the Elusive Man and Anderson. And then the little child at the end. When I first did, I only had the two options for Renegade and Paragon, so I don't know if the final the symbiosis thing happened later as far as the extended ending. I'm not sure. But then you make your final sacrifice, everything finishes off, and it just sort of does that weird. It does a weird cut where it just goes to Joker flying away in the Normandy, and then it crashes somewhere, and then it shows the door to the Normandy opening, and then it just kind of goes to credits.
Okay, yeah, so a little lackluster.
A little lackluster. But I did watch an interview with Casey Hudson, the original creative director for the game, and he was saying that a lot of their main points of reference for going into this game was they were looking at a lot of stuff from like World War II and things like that. So part of me thinks that maybe they were kind of going for like a more quote unquote realistic idea of like how that war would end. There wouldn't be a big satisfying ending to it. You know what I mean? It would sort of be like, oh, we did it. Okay. Like,
right.
let the pieces fall where they may, I guess. Like, that's it.
Yeah. It's not all rainbows and unicorns now that the war is over. It's like, it's just over.
Yeah. It's just over. That's it. However, though, I do understand the issues people took with it. And I do think that the actual ending they have is the proper ending. Another interview with Casey Hudson I saw was that the feedback that they got from players was that it was a lot of people felt like they didn't really get a chance to say goodbye, and that they didn't get a lot of they didn't really feel like they got a final moment with their crew or anybody like that. So I get that because the extended cut does lend to that a bit more. So I do understand the criticisms from the original, and I do much prefer the extended ending that we got. However, I still found this side that people were way too harsh when this game first came out. Personally,
well, people can be that way.
100%.
But the rest of the game makes up for it because it's all this incredible, stakes being raised and everything tightening in around you. And it's such a great payoff for everything that you did in games 1 and 2. That's one of the things I really appreciate about Mass Effect 3 in particular is that, we say, oh, your choices matter. But like in Mass Effect 3, like your choices matter. The first 2 games all led up to this. Everything comes back. And that's incredible for a game, I think.
No, yeah. And it's something to keep in mind too, is that like this game was set out originally to be a trilogy. So it wasn't like the story was sort of stumbled across as they went along. It wasn't like something like a Halo or Gears. Not to talk shit on those games, but like it wasn't like something like that where it was like, oh, this game did well. We'll keep making more. Cool. And you find a good story within that. It was like, this was the plan, was to do 3 games. So part of me believes that this was kind of always the plan for how they wanted shit to go. And you're right too. It's like, it's the satisfaction of like seeing stuff from game 1 and 2 get finalized or cleared up in 3, or like finding arcs that connect for characters and stuff like that, which is just like, I really think my favorite stuff in this game is sort of finalizing character arcs in this game. So much of that stuff is just, it's so satisfying. Even when it's tragic and really sad, it's still really satisfying.
Oh yeah. And what's great is that the creators of the game, the storytellers, were able to make those arcs all come back and support the ultimate theme of the last game, which I mean, I think the big one is sacrifice, and what would you do to, save everybody. And it's so cool to see great characters like Morden and Thane and Grunt come back and totally exemplify that, and in some cases pay the ultimate price to do just that.
Yeah. If we're gonna go and start talking about like certain favorite moments, then based on just kind of jumping off of that a little bit, the moment with the final moments with Thane. Thane's arc in general is to me one of the best character stories that's ever been done in a video game, in my opinion. And just like, I love the redemption arc. I love his relationship with his son going through the games, and his final moments. To sort of broad strokes give a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, for Thane. Thane is an assassin who has developed a specific disease for his species that is slowly killing him, and he jumps into the middle of a fight between Shepard and this other assassin who was working for the Elusive Man, and in the process of that, he gets majorly injured, which would normally be part of what makes it so tragic is that the doctor even tells you normally he'd be fine, but because of his disease, he's not able to actually recover from this. So it's just like, you're telling me this dude would have been cool if not for this bullshit he was already dealing with?
I mean, he was going to die anyway, like, I know it's still sad. It still sucks, but like,
well, it's sad, and it's kind of nice though, because at least then it's like someone like that got to go out as a fighter and as a warrior and doing something to try to help. And Thane even says something along those lines, just like, I'm glad I went out fighting for you and fighting for the galaxy. At least in the Paragon option. I don't know what happens in the Renegade version, because again, me and Brenden do not go.
Certainly don't either.
Me and Brenden do not go Renegade at all. We don't do it.
Can't do it.
We're two cute little Boy Scouts. We can't help it.
Something no one has said about us ever. You do get that very special moment at the end of Thane's arc too, where his son is there and you're in the hospital and you're saying the prayer and you join his son saying the prayer and you like finish it, and then you find out that it was for you. It was for Commander Shepard the whole time, not for Thane's spirit or for anything like that. His son says, "Oh no, he's asked for forgiveness for his sins. This was for you."
Yeah, this was for you.
Tears.
It's just it's so that whole part is just so beautiful and well done. And again, just like, especially from Mass Effect 2 on, and even in 3, the gameplay, the actual like gunfights and stuff is immaculate. I love actually playing the game. But what makes Mass Effect great is those moments. It's those moments of dialogue, sitting there with characters and making the choice to be like, yes, I will join you in this prayer. I will read with you because this man was my friend and my crewmate, and I want to be here for this goodbye. It's like, those are the parts that make it just like, that stands Mass Effect out from other games to me.
Yeah. It's that immersion in, those decisions and the lives of the characters, because that easily could just be narrative. They could just be, a scene that you watch play out, but being in there and being in the moment and making the choices and saying the dialogue that you say puts you right there, and it gets you right here. We talked about in the first episode, what Casey Hudson always talked about was that Mass Effect is about that emotional connection with the world and with the characters, and Mass Effect 3 really takes that and runs with it in amazing, sweet, and wonderful ways, and in really, really tragic ways like with Thane. But again, on the opposite end though, you also have, to me, really beautiful moments like Jack's storyline is so awesome.
I wouldn't have in 100 years ever thought of taking that storyline in that direction, but I love that they did that because it's such a wonderful redemption arc for a character like that, to make her a teacher, essentially.
Yeah, that cares so much about her kids.
Gives such
much.
Gives so many fucks about those kids. It makes me want to cry. Like those moments where she's just like, it's the one moment where she's just like, you're working on the plan to get the kids out of there, and she's just like, I really didn't think this was gonna be my thing, and she goes, but these guys, and then she looks down and goes, anyone touches my kids, I'm gonna fucking kill him. You're just like, yes, Jack, yes.
Yeah, it's like, I already loved you. Now you're my hero.
Dude. Oh, and her look in Mass Effect 3 as well is so fucking choice. It's
Such
so
a glow up.
good.
Such a glow up.
Such a glow. I always loved Jack's look, but like this mohawk with the ponytail.
So
awesome.
Good. Yep.
So good.
It's cool to see all of the characters, like many of the characters that you've interacted with or had on your crew or just even on the ship kind of come into their own in Mass Effect 3. And it's kind of like a motif, you've got Jack that comes up and becomes a teacher for other biotic kids. You've got Tully, who rises up to be an admiral of the migrant fleet.
You've girl.
Truly. You've got Rex, who was already like the leader of the Urdnot clan, but now he's like the leader of like the Krogan people almost, You've got Garrus, who's risen up and is now like a war advisor essentially for his people. You've got Liara, who's stepped into her role as the shadow broker and is just kicking ass all over the place.
Despite being run off of her base by Cerberus, is still making moves as a shadow broker. Like, you cannot hold this woman down.
Mm-hmm. And even Kaidan is now Major Alenko. Like, everybody around Shepard has come into their own.
Yeah, and is being spotted as another human Spectre at this point.
Oh, that too. That too.
Like, bro. It was something I noticed when I was playing through it this time was that I can't remember her name, the reporter you interact with a lot through all three games.
Diana Allers.
No, through all three.
Oh, Kalisa Sint Benin Al-Jalani.
Well done. Fucking well done. Great pulling that name, my friend.
I think I got it. I'm
pretty
close.
sure you're right. I'm pretty sure you're right. If anything, you were damn close. But it was something I noticed is like, as you have that interaction early on where she kind of has her, at least in the Paragon option, of course, she has her little breakdown where she's just like, well, just like, you just left Earth behind and how could you do that? Mm-hmm. And you have the moment where you're just kind of like, we are doing what we can. And she's just like, I just don't know what to do. And I'm like, this character got a full arc. This character got a full arc through this whole trilogy. Truly. Are you kidding me? Like, how do you even think just like, oh, we need to make sure this person gets their redemption mark too? Like, right.
How? It's masterful in that way. To be perfectly honest, because you're right, everybody is given a chance to have their moment in the sun and redeem themselves and rise up and into their own. Even Arya T'Loak in the DLC, she gets to come back and do her shit on Omega.
And show a very interesting different side to her as well, of that there is like, obviously she's a criminal, like she's kind of here for profit, but you do see a side that is like, Arya T'Loak does care about maintaining Omega, and that she kind of came into her power because she cares about Omega, and maybe she got lost in terms of like some of the underground and like criminality shit parts of Omega and whatnot, and that's why her partner may have left. But you do see a different side to Arya too, and that there's no character that is less than 3-dimensional in this game.
Absolutely.
Including characters that could totally get away with being 2-dimensional, like Arya T'Loak.
I think part of what we get to see on a lot of the characters is that they're these characters, and for some they maybe weren't so confident or were coming into their own, and now they like have some power and are like kind of like ready to go. But for others, they've been shaken and they have to kind of come over that or like get around that in some way. And I think Arya is one of those characters because I think you do see a side of her that is very shaken and has to rise above that. Same with Jack. She gets a little shaken and she has to keep it together, especially when you're talking to her. If you talk to her before you go into the very, very last mission, her voice is so different. She's so like uneven, Well, you're watching somebody who I decided that they weren't going to actually care about anybody, who now has like friends and basically family she cares about and students she cares about. So it's like you're looking at a changed person. Yeah.
I know.
This game.
I know.
So we talked a little bit about the like being on the Citadel and interacting with like Arya and like a bunch of other characters. Do you want to talk about like interacting with like some of the citizens and like what's going on the Citadel during the whole game?
There's so many beautiful things that happen where it's just like a big one is that you can sort of bump into like random interactions through discovering things through searching the galaxy, and you find stuff and go, hey, this can help you here. Like there's a bunch of stuff in the hospital where you go like, oh, I found this, or I found this, or I found this. Or just like things that are just like literally there. Just like there's some stuff where it's just like, hey, I found this old flag, and someone's like, oh my god, that's gonna give my people hope, thank you.
Yeah.
Or just like walking by, and if you stop and listen to interactions and stuff, it's just these beautiful little things that like fill out the world in the game. Like one of my favorites is it's in the not the docking bay, but no, not the landing bay, in the docking bay where they're keeping
Like
where
it's been adapted to hold the refugees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one where you go by one of the counters where there's a Seasick officer, a Turian Seasick officer, just like
I know what you're talking about.
And there's the human girl who's just like, hello, and he's like, hi, like, and she's just like, I'm just waiting for my parents, and the first time you go by, he's just like, oh, okay, listen, anybody messes with you, you let me know. She's like, oh, it's cool, my parents will be here soon. And then you keep going by, and they keep talking, and she's just like, oh, my parents will be here soon. And now the Seasick officer is like, oh, yeah, they probably just like got delayed. And it's just like watching this little relationship develop between this Turian officer and this like, I don't know, like maybe like 15-year-old girl who's just like waiting for him. It's so tragic and beautiful. It's just like, but I also love that as Shepard, you can't jump in or do anything. You just have to witness it and like keep going. Because another big thing in the game is just like, you're not going to save everybody. You know, you're not going to help everybody. You're not going to save everybody.
I hadn't even thought about that, but
you just have to keep walking by this one interaction over and over again and just be like, no!
Yeah. There's a few of those conversations that are like that where you can't directly intervene. You only get like a little snippet of it as you walk by, and every time you come back, you hear a little bit more. The one that gets me is the one there's like this older woman who's at this counter at the embassies. And she's talking to the Asari like clerk there, and she's like, "Oh, you remind me of somebody." And it's clear that she's like, got like dementia or like is losing her mind. And
she's come back and done this like 3 or 4 times.
And she's like come back and done this like a bunch of times, and the Asari clerk is trying to be so nice and help her, but her son is gone in the war or something. I don't remember all of the nitty-gritty details, but it's kind of implied that the Asari is her daughter-in-law, but she's like not able to remember her.
Oh,
it's like
I never got that from it. Oh my god.
It's like one of the first conversations that they have. Or maybe it's just the dementia, who knows? But one of the things she says, one of the like last sentences in that first conversation is, how many times do I have to tell you to call me Teresa? And it's like, my heart.
Oh god, that's so. Oh god, I never caught that. I caught that moment. I never caught that detail in that moment though.
So many details in this game.
I know. The one that I really, really have always liked is because it harkens back to one of my favorite little like tiny little side quests in Mass Effect 2. I don't know if you remember it. It's on. Where do you find Liara the first time?
Ilium, first time
Ilium.
In the first game? Oh, Ilium.
No, in two. Oh. Sorry. On Ilium.
Yes.
It's Ilium,
yes,
right?
Yes. I think so.
Yes, okay. So there's that little mission you could have where you walk across that Krogan spitting bad poetry at an Asari.
Oh my god, yes.
And you come up and you're just like, hey, are you cool with this? And she's like, yeah, it's my ex. He's trying to convince me to stay with him. Da. And you can either just tell her, like, yeah, fuck that guy, he's weird. Or you can be like, come on, give him a chance. What Krogan does poetry? Like, come on. And then in 3, you could you unfortunately come across that Krogan's body during a mission.
Oh, no.
And find the last poem he's made for his girl. And you can bring it back to her on the Citadel. And you watch her listen to it and just, like, start going, no. And you're just like, this is going to be an emotional episode. You want to talk about it? Heads up, but we should have gave it at the beginning. Sorry, 2 things we should have mentioned up front. This is gonna be a longer episode and a very emotional episode. We are both gonna be crying talking about this episode. Sorry.
Probably. You're right. And I don't think I got that particular detail in my first playthrough of games 2 or 3. Either I didn't catch them on Ilium when that was happening, or I didn't find his body in the caves when that was happening. I'm not sure, but I didn't get that part, the connection between the two games. But yeah, no, when I was playing it this time, I found the body, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I gave it the thing to the person, and I was like, no! I was so sad.
I only remember because you find them on Ilium, and then if you do Ilium first, you find them on Ilium, and then you go to Tachanka for Grunt and Morden's mission in Mass Effect 2, and then if you come back to your ship later, he has taken her to Tachanka to show her his homeworld, and you could witness them having a cute little thing where he's just like, "Isn't this beautiful, honey?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's great."
Oh no.
I know. Yeah, man. Like. Once you play 3, you kind of realize 2 was just setting up a bunch of tragedy for you. Like, it was just,
truly
setting you up to cry in 3, pretty much.
Pretty much. Oh, man. What else happens on the Citadel that's, really, that stands out? You get a lot of moments with your crew.
You do get a lot of really cool moments
that are
with your
incredible.
crew. Mm-hmm. You have this stuff. You have one of my and to sort of switch gears to talk about some more light-hearted moments, I suppose. Your parts with Garrus, where he takes you up onto the top of the Citadel and you start shooting. Essentially, you're shooting bottles across the thing, just having a bro down, basically.
A bro down.
I mean, what else do you call it? What else do you say about it?
I've just never heard that term. I like it. No, yeah. And that's absolutely what it is. You get that lovely moment where Garrus says, "I'm Garrus Vicarian, and this is my favorite spot on the Citadel."
If you missed your last shot to make him feel like he's the better shot than you.
Oh, and who doesn't?
Like, I know. Who doesn't let that man have that win? Like, come on.
I don't care. Paragon, Renegade, I don't care who you are. Who does that?
You give Garrus that fucking win. 100 goddamn percent. Yes. What about you? What were some of yours?
Well, I might have finalized a certain romance on the Citadel.
I've never done the Caden romance, so how does that go?
It's lovely.
Is it? Yay.
It's really sweet. Because it's 1, super gay. 2, I just had to get that out there.
I don't know why you would talk about something like that being super gay in this podcast.
But it's really sweet. It's because Caden kind of starts it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and he's like, it would be nice to like have somebody. And Shepard is kind of like, her? And Caden's like, well, yeah. I mean, you've known me for a long time. Have you known me to be with anybody? And so they have this like awkward kind of like, yeah, I like you. Do you like me? Yeah, I like you. It's just very sweet.
It's a moment of just like, are you gay? Yeah.
Kind of.
Just the moment of just like, do they like my boots or do they like my boots? Like.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very sweet. It's kind of trepidatious at first, but then you get like the moment later, like before the last missions, where your romance partner comes up to your room, and Caden comes up with like a bottle of wine and glasses, and it's just very wholesome. It's very
adorable.
Sweet. Yeah. If you take Caden on the last mission too, there's a chance when you're running towards the beam, there's a chance that he's the one that gets injured, and then you put him on the ship. And if he's also your romance partner, then you can exchange a very lovely, like, no, don't leave me behind. Like, I'm going into this with you. I mean, and that always happens. Like, that always happens. Yeah. But if it's your romance partner, then you'll share like a hug or a kiss or something, and then you'll send them off, and it's all very tragic.
Yeah. Since we're talking about our finalizing our romances.
Yes.
Mine for 3, and I don't know if this happens without it, but I got it with the Citadel DLC because it was in the apartment that Shepard has in the Citadel. For those who don't know, there's a whole DLC with the Citadel. Personal opinion, Firm Ashes is very, very cool. Leviathan is very, very cool. get the Citadel DLC because there's so much to it and it's so delightful and fun. And just in a game like Mass Effect 3, you kind of need something like the Citadel DLC.
Yeah.
Especially the house party, which we
kind of break it up.
We're going to talk about the house party. We have to talk about the house party.
we're gonna.
We
it's
are
okay.
going to. But you come back to the apartment at one point and you find this little. You get a note from Tally because I've romanced Tally, now officially Tally Voss Normandy, and you come back and she goes, "Hey, I left a little something for you," da 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 da, and it's a picture of, and this only comes if you save her species for the mission with all of that.
Right.
It's a picture of her without her mask on, and you actually get to see Tally without her mask.
What?
Yeah, you actually get to see her. It's in a picture, but you actually, as the player, get to actually see Tally without the full mask and stuff.
Wait a minute. So at the end of that mission where she takes her mask off on Rannoch and Shepard's looking at her for the first time ever without a mask on?
Shepard looks. I mean, Shepard.
No.
looks at her and sees her.
No. I know. I'm working up to a point. What I'm saying is they included a picture of her in the game. They designed her so they could have put it in there for everybody to see, but no, they were selfish.
100% could have. Yes.
That's all I'm getting at. Okay.
Yes. No. You're right.
I'm bitter.
You're absolutely right.
You're
bitter absolutely right.
Because that moment's so cool. You know, you spend all of this time, with the Quarians and, teaming up kind of with the Geth if you make those kinds of decisions. And then maybe ultimately deciding to save both the Geth and the Quarians if you do really well. Yep. And she is on Rannoch and she could take her mask off and it's okay. And it ramps up to it and you think, oh wow, we're going to see Tali without her mask on. This is so cool. What a great payoff for playing all three of these games. And then it just fades to black. It's a cop-out and I don't like it.
Well, part of it, to be fair, is that she's taken off for a moment because they still can't fully survive on Rannoch without their masks on.
I know.
I'm just saying. There's a slight defense. I'm
just saying, I've never seen Tali without her mask on. I'm mad about it.
I know, I understand. But then the part that kills me is in that last moment, because I took Tali with me because I wanted to see. In that last moment, and she's the one that gets injured, you put her back on the ship.
What she says is heart-wrenching.
It's so brutal, because essentially Shepard is just like, I want you to, go home, make your home planet your home again. And it's I think she says something just kind of like, you are my home, or I don't have a home without you.
I already have a home.
I already have a home, and she says, don't leave me behind. It's so fucking killer. It's so rough.
It's so because I hate myself, watched that scene for all of the different iterations that there could be. Because I just wanted to see.
Fair, okay.
And they're all very difficult.
Oh no, I've one of my favorites is the one with Garrus where he's not your romantic partner, and you just sort of have that last moment with what is essentially your best friend in the game,
best friend,
or your brother in the game, and it's just it's him just looking at you, just kind of if you die, I'm gonna kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the most masculine, emotional thing on the fucking.
You think you're going in there alone? You got to be fucking kidding me!
Right?
Yeah.
It's Garrus who's already been hit with a fucking rocket, and he's taken a Reaper laser blast, and he's still just no, I'm good. Nope. Let's
Put me
go.
in.
Come on.
Yeah.
And you're just having to tell him sit the fuck down, dude. No. You've done enough.
Yeah. The one
too much Shepard telling anybody they've done enough for the galaxy is fucking laughable. Anyway.
True. I was gonna say one of those though, because I watched them all. One that I found particularly rough was actually Edie's. Because if she she gets hit, she gets messed up, and you're kind of dragging her back onto the ship, and she's telling Shepard, no, Shepard, this unit can go on. This unit is expendable. I'm okay. I can keep fighting. Let me get back. I want to go with you, and her voice is getting distorted and warbled because it's all messed up. That one's rough.
Oh God. Edie is such a good character arc too. It's fascinating with the way they handle all that.
Mm-hmm.
And to which, just a quick little thing on that, by the way, if you are somebody who romances Edie in this game, you're a monster. Or tries to. You're a damn monster for taking her away from Joker. How fucking dare you?
Can you?
Jesus Christ. I think you can. I think you can. I've never done it, but there's options in dialogue that can kind of lead you down that way. So I think you can.
Really?
I think you can.
Do you have to discourage the relationship between them?
There's options to discourage the relationship.
Yeah, there is. Huh.
And I've seen dialogue options that definitely make it kind of seem like you can lead Shepard in a romance direction with Edie. I think.
Can you? You're a monster. If you do that, you are a goddamn monster.
But also, talk to us in a year when we talk about the Legendary Edition. Anyway.
When we do everything that we always wanted to but never could bring ourselves to do, that run where we kill everybody and we save Ashley.
If this podcast is still going, we'll have to do our the run we didn't want to do run. We'll have to do it.
What do you mean if? What's this if? Excuse me? What do you mean? Where's that energy coming from? Jordan.
I'm saying if the sun explodes. That if. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Are there any other moments that particularly stand out that you want to talk about in this game, this episode of the trilogy?
I mean, other than the house party, which we need to talk about, I also do want to take a moment to talk about just Grunt. I fell in love with that character so hard in Mass Effect 2. I don't know what it was, and I've talked to other people who don't quite get where my just devotion to that little fucking Krogan Rugrat comes from.
Krogan Rugrat. Not a Krogan Rugrat.
I don't know where that came from.
I like it. It's not off. I don't know. I like it.
But just watching him go from just literally you open the tank and he's ready to rip your fucking head off to leading a platoon of essentially Krogan Navy SEALs. I don't know how else to put it, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then just he's a leader, he's a respected leader, and just he's become such a badass. He's found his place in the Krogan culture and the Krogan world and stuff like that, despite that there's some people who still don't totally respect him. He may have broken some toes to earn that respect, but that's Krogan life in general. That's not necessarily a Grunt problem. But his last little mission that you get with him, I think, is just another I love the fact that the game doesn't make every final moment with different crew members totally tragic. You have the option to there's an option to have a much more uplifting ending, like with Jacob, with Samara, and then with Grunt is one of my favorites, because I think if you do things a certain way, it will go tragically with Grunt, but basically, it's the whole finalizing mission with the Arachnite, to which, just for galactic sake, just always rescue the fucking Arachnite Queen at the end.
Always.
It just makes the most sense. It just makes the most sense. Morally and strategically, it just makes the most sense.
Especially if you spent the time and energy to save them in Mass Effect 1, why would you now go, change my mind?
Never mind.
Don't
Screw
do that. Don't do that.
But then you're trying to escape this major cave system that you've been trapped in with Arachnite that have been taken over by the Reapers, basically. And for your final push, you have what you think is going to be a last one with Grunt, where he's just go Shepard, I'll hold them off. And it's just, because it's Grunt, that would be the way that someone like Grunt would want to go out. That would be that would be a true death. That would be a warrior's death, and that'd be perfect for Grunt.
Absolutely.
But depending on your choices, thankfully he gets to survive, and there's something really beautiful to me in that, of just the story that could totally end with the major sacrifice, but he gets to keep going. I don't know, there's just something really beautiful in that I really, really appreciate.
I think part of it too is that the game has already set us up for not everybody's going to be making it through, because very early on, you start losing people. You lose Thane, maybe not by that point. Maybe by that point, depending. I'm not sure.
I think by that point you've already lost Thane.
I think so. You've definitely lost Morden by that point, I think.
Or you're about no, because,
or you're about to,
or
maybe?
you're about to, because like this would be one of the missions you do before you do your final run on Tachanka.
It's all very loosey goosey because you can do things in different orders. But anyways,
To which also, by the way, quick advice: do the side missions, like the big side missions, before you do the main mission on things.
Do
'cause
the
you can
side
fuck
missions.
shit up. You can fuck shit up so bad, like I did my first run where I lost the Quarians completely.
No.
Oh yeah.
No!
Oh yeah. Watch Tally commit suicide off a cliff. It was fucking awful.
No.
Yeah, man.
No.
Yeah, man. It was bad. It was real bad.
Oh no. That's really tragic.
Oh, it was. She turns around and goes, "I'm sorry," and you watch her just like Jesus off a cliff, and you're like, "No!" And you try to grab her, but then you miss.
How bad did you mess up?
Oh, terribly. I didn't do
my
the
gosh.
side mission again. Proof of concept. I didn't do the side mission for the Quarian stuff, where you go into that virtual world where you learn the history of like the Quarians and the Geth and whatnot, and you come out and you have control of the Geth primes.
Yeah.
At that point, didn't do that. Went straight to the main mission. Think I'll do that fucking later, and then it fucked me up real bad. Turns out that was my big mistake.
Oof.
So do as much as you can.
Do as much as you can.
Before you do main missions and then go in.
Especially too, and this is leading to another cool portion of this game, is that it feels like things are tightening around you throughout the whole game because you can run out of time to do things. It's not like Mass Effect 1 and 2 where all of the side missions are like always there until like the very, very end when you lock in the final like 2 missions.
Yep.
Pretty much everything is there for you to do in any order that you like. You can do those side missions. You can get that, thing at the store, whatever it might be. You've got time. In Mass Effect 3, you do not have time. You can totally miss things. If you do, certain main quest missions, you can lose access to other things that gets taken over by the Reapers, or, that person that was at the Citadel that you were gonna bring the thing to, they're not there anymore. Who knows what happened to them? It's just, like, there's danger, everywhere.
People will die. Options will get cut off because of like resources or certain like worlds that have been destroyed because of the Reapers. So it's like, this one does carry like timing consequences where it's like you have to make sure you get shit done in a certain amount of time. Yeah. You're totally right. Which I like it though, because it does. As you said, it does create that feeling of like, this is all coming in around you, and that is even visually represented when you look at I love looking at the galaxy map as you see the Reapers kind of start to show up in like different like areas of the galaxy and like in different clusters and whatnot. It just like it creates this like very claustrophobic feeling of like this is really starting to like come in around me, and I don't like it, but I do like it.
Until you finally get to like that last mission where you have to like you adjust, I think. Or maybe, no, it's when you're going to the Cerberus base, you can't select anywhere else. You have to go there because it's all taken over by Reapers. You can't even select those systems. It really feels real at that moment. Okay, so we've talked about, I think, everything else. Let's talk about the party.
I love... Okay, I want to talk about a little bit. We'll get there, but I want to talk about a little bit in broad strokes about the Citadel mission.
Okay, yeah.
The overall Citadel stuff in and of itself. Basically, you get this message from Anderson saying, "Go to the Citadel. I've got a surprise for you." Basically, and essentially, he's giving you the keys to his apartment, which is a fucking baller apartment. Like if I could design this thing in real life, I fucking would. Like, holy shit. The just like the whatever shit that Anderson likes to roll in, that place had it coming in and out of the front door. You know what I mean? Like, damn, bro, that place was awesome and made to fucking party as well.
Absolutely, undoubtedly.
Yeah. But you get involved in this ridiculous, and I mean ridiculous is the highest form of compliments. This ridiculous mission involving a Shepard clone. That is just so good. It's so much fun. It involves your whole crew. Like, no matter what, no matter who you select to take with on the actual mission itself, it involves your whole crew, period. And it's just, it's a delight. The story is insane. You get wonderful moments like Rex looking at your, oh my god, what is your, like, essentially your yeoman's name now in this one? The adorable little British lady.
Samantha Trainer.
Samantha Trainer, thank you. Where it's just like you get back onto the ship and Rex is just kind of like, Shepard has a clone he's fighting. Makes sense when you think about it. Anyway, and you just kind of like keep barreling through and you keep going. Or like your crew just, or like when Shepard's just like, I need to take a couple of people with me for this mission. And you literally have your crew members going, like, take me. But it all culminates into Joker, who of course, still always a favorite. We'll need to talk about his, like, one of his, like, quote unquote final moments with Shepard before we wrap up here. But essentially, Joker says like, dude, we gotta throw a party. And Shepard's like, do we? But then eventually comes around to the other side and says like, yeah, we should probably throw a party.
Yeah, we should probably throw a party.
And then you throw this wonderful house party with your whole crew and everybody, and it's just like, it's just such a nice little like reprieve where it's, you walk into the kitchen and everyone's been drinking and like Tally and Jack and people are just like dancing and having a good time.
Tally's like drunk off her ass.
Oh my god.
Just hiccuping on the counter.
Just like, what?
Yeah.
Trainer's upstairs trying to explain to Edie what she meant when she said that she thought Edie's voice was sexy.
Amazing.
and just like Grunt and the, oh my god, what's the Prothean's name? I'm completely blanking on it right now. Javik, thank you. And just like Rex and Javik and like a couple of people are just like basically having a pissing contest in another room. You have to go convince Joker to get up and dance with Edie. Like, come on, dude. Like,
it's
and then next day you wake up to everyone's hangover, and it's so sweet.
Wake up with your romance partner.
With your romance partner, yes.
So I found out, and I watched all of them again because I like to hurt myself. There's 2 different scenes that you can get for your romance partner, no matter who it is, and it's not like male versus female shep. It's like even as a female shep, there's 2. Like if you're, if Garrus is your romance partner, there's 2 Garrus scenes for that for female.
Really?
Shep. Yeah. So even though you may have like romanced a person, there's still a chance for 2, like one of 2 different scenes.
Wow, I didn't know that actually. Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And then of course if like it's a partner that can be romanced by fem shep or male shep, then there's 4 essentially for that.
Okay, cool,
partner.
Cool.
Yeah. And the Caden scenes are kind of steamy.
Really? Okay. Okay. Because I'll say,
I mean, not more steamy than the actual like
right
scene.
Right. Because I'll say just cause the one I got, at least the one that I got with Tally, is very cute. You essentially roll over in bed, and Tally's just like, I need aspirin.
There's one with her too, where she wakes up and she's like, who put my Enviro suit back on? All the buckles are askew. And I was like, excuse me, you can't take that suit off, ma'am.
That's adorable. That's very cute, though. I like that.
It is kind of cute, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, because there's to be fair, there's a conversation in 2 that talks about how eventually you can sort of get, if it's a different species, if I remember right, for the Quarians, if it's a different species, you can sort of eventually get acclimated to them, and you get less sick the more time you spend with them. Might be remembering wrong, but I think that might be something. So I think maybe there is an argument there to be made that they could have more out-of-suit interaction. I could be totally wrong, though. Also, very quickly, we need to talk about another moment with Tally, because it's something that you should get with everybody. It's outside the Citadel, but it's very, very cute.
What is it?
It's towards the end. It's after the Miranda mission.
Okay.
Where you go and save her sister away from her father.
Yeah.
You walk into the little, like, bar area. You get sent a message saying that, like, you need to go check on Tally. And you go down there, and she's sitting at the bar, and you find out Tally's drunk. And you ask her, how have you been doing that because of the suit? And she says, through a delicate system of taking in the alcohol through an emergency induction port. Tally, that's a straw. Emergency induction ports.
Damn it! I didn't go check on her specifically when I got that message.
God, it's so good. That's my
I'm
favorite.
upset.
It's one of my favorite parts of the game.
I was like, I gotta, because I was playing it for this episode, and I was like,
yes,
I
you gotta
don't have time.
trying to get through.
I don't have time for you, Dolly. I'm sorry, I love you, but I gotta go beat these Reapers, man. Like,
Yeah.
So I was trying to get through it.
You can have a similar moment with Ashley if you keep her throughout, which again, most people think just like, why would you do that? Ashley does become more interesting if you keep her alive throughout the games, but you have a similar one where she downs a bottle of basically space tequila, and you come into her on the floor, just like crumbled to the side, and you're just sitting there teasing her, and you're just kind of like, I think now's a good time for Joker to test the fire alarms in the Normandy, and she's like, I'll give you 1,000 space cards not to do that.
Amazing.
Yeah. For as tragic as the game is, if it does a good job of finding these like really fun, lighthearted moments. But yeah, and so to go back to get less ADHD about how we run our episodes. Yeah, all the Citadel stuff is really just like, it's super fun. You run around a whole area you've never seen in the Citadel before. It's basically like their downtown, like Las Vegas-esque area where they have casinos, video games, bars. There's a whole like combat simulation area you go to. You can take Javik and crash a movie set.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's so much fun. It's just, you take Trainer to a fucking chess tournament. It's so good.
Aw, that's cute.
Yeah. So again, all the DLC is wonderful for 3. I highly recommend getting all of it. However, though, if you get the Legendary Edition, it comes with it. Period.
Comes with it.
So it doesn't matter. But
and
if anything's gonna be worth it, it's the Citadel DLC, in my opinion.
And that's good news for people like me who are dumb and started playing the game and didn't realize that the DLC wasn't loaded onto it and are going, where's the Prothean? Where's the Omega? Where's...
Yeah.
Dumb.
If you don't check the thing at the beginning, yeah.
Yeah. So, lesson learned, but also it doesn't matter because it'll come preloaded on the Legendary Edition.
It will. It's already gonna be done.
I'm so excited to play the game again in like HD and with like enhanced like gameplay and things, you know, having learned all of the lessons that they learned from getting all 3 games out there and for them being out for so long. I'm so excited for them to come back and like retool it and make it even better. And to see the cutscenes in HD.
It's true. There is definitely going to be that. I am excited to experience the game anew again, basically. Like, going back through it again, complete blank slate, like nothing, no preloaded characters or anything like that, just like starting from scratch. But getting it with like updated graphics, updated gameplay, hopefully, and just, you know, yeah, all that stuff is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So do we want to talk about the ending?
I think we need to.
Oh, I think it's
we need to, especially for something like this. It's like the ending.
Yeah, it's so
in a trilogy is really the most important part. So
if you haven't left and you don't want to be spoiled on like the ending, I know we kind of like tiptoed around it at the beginning of this episode, but we're going to talk about it like in earnest right now. So if you're gonna play and you don't really want to be ruined on the ending, get out of here now. Just go.
This is going to be the most spoilery part of this thing. So yeah, Absolutely. Get out of here while you can.
Okay, they're gone. So yes. The ending.
It's so crazy. You have to blow a Reaper. It's such a weird way to end the game.
Oh my god!
But
how do you know which one's the dick? I've killed him.
What is... Hold on, sorry. I got an email real quick. Oh, it's a cease and desist from BioWare. Interesting.
Completely unsurprising.
I think... Okay, to actually talk about it now. I think to kind of go back to what we talked about in the beginning in terms of like people's issues with the ending of the game and how I felt people kind of didn't sort of understand the overall themes or the ideas of what the game was trying to put forward, is that this was kind of whatever choice you make at the end of the game, because if you go through it, there's three options basically, and we will get into that. Was that a lot of people were upset that Shepard made the ultimate sacrifice at the end of the game. At least that was kind of the vibe that I got when this game first came out, which to me was always odd because we know Shepard is literally willing to kill himself to save the galaxy. Never mind the galaxy, just to save his own crew. Like, we know Paragon, Renegade, whatever, that is a sacrifice that Shepard is willing to make. So going forward with the ending for this game, I wasn't shocked that this was how the game ended at all, personally. Big spoiler alert, no matter what you do, Shepard sacrifices himself at the end of this game.
Well, actually, there is a way for Shepard to save himself. Did you know that?
I do know this. I do know that there is a way.
Okay.
There is a way.
Okay.
In my personal headspace for Shepard, however, to be fair, there's also, you want to get into technicalities here, there's also another option in which you could just say no to all the options.
You just don't do anything.
And let the Reapers destroy everything, so...
The hands down, the worst option.
The worst option. But I'm so glad that option's there, though, because it does show just like, no, you have all the choices here. You have all the options.
Yeah, you spent too long.
You cannot tell me that
No.
that Mass Effect didn't hand you every available option that makes sense in the game.
Absolutely. So, so there's the terrible fourth option where if you wait too long or if you don't do anything or make a decision, the Reapers just come in and blow everything up. And then there's 3 different options. You want to go over them?
Yeah. If I remember right, there's essentially the 2 options of the Renegade and Paragon option, which is the Paragon option is to, I only chose it once, so I'm having trouble remembering it.
It's control.
Yes,
control
you take
the
control
Reapers.
of... You take control of the Reapers, and essentially you could tell them to fuck back off to dark space. There's the Renegade option, which destroys all inorganic life, including the Reapers, right?
It's right, all synthetic life.
Synthetic life, thank you, yeah.
Yeah, that includes the Geth, if you saved them. That includes, like, your technology gets fucked, too, apparently. That would
include... Well, because that would include EDI.
And it would include EDI, yeah. Then that's like...
And yourself, because Cerberus put a bunch of gobbledygook inside of you.
Oh, is that... Oh.
They mentioned that, yeah, the little kid, whatever, that is meant to symbolize.
Oh, the catalyst.
The catalyst, yeah.
Says, you're part...
He's just like, you're part synthetic, so this would actually knock your shit out, too, just so you know.
This is gonna rock your shit.
Yeah. And then there's the third option, which to me makes the most sense, which is... What is it called, Brenden?
It's called synthesis.
Synthesis, thank you.
Where
basically... Call it, like, symbiosis or whatever.
I mean, you're close. kind of, because it's about synthetic and organic life coming together. So basically, you jump into the beam, and then through space magic, you are dispersed throughout the galaxy, and then everything that was synthetic becomes part organic, and everything that was organic becomes part synthetic, and everybody has a better understanding of everybody.
Yeah.
And there's galactic peace.
Yeah. Well, because now there's one and empathetic, because the game kind of goes into it too with Edie's final monologue at the end. At least for me, it was Edie explaining everything through the end of it.
Yeah.
Is that it's like, one, now the synthetic creatures have a sympathetic and emotional understanding of what the organics go through, and those that are organic now have an actual fundamental understanding of the networking that goes on with synthetics. So it's this beautiful merger between emotional and like pure raw data, essentially, of how we can understand each other.
Yeah,
which,
absolutely.
To me is the best ending, because I think that's such a beautiful way to handle that.
And it's interesting because it's sort of, if you do it correctly, this is sort of represented on a smaller scale with like the Quarians and the Geth, because if you save both, they come to mutual understanding, and then the Geth are like, can we help you? Like, we'd like to help you. We were never really mad at you.
Yeah.
But you wanted to blow us up, so we had to do something about that. But we're cool
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. It's just like we never wanted to kill the Quarians. You wanted to kill us. Like that
Yeah.
was our big issue. You wanted us dead.
Yeah.
And you made us. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was our big problem here.
You kind of went back on us a little bit there. We're
little
cool,
bit.
but like you did that.
We could probably just do whole episodes just going into like specific history of different races in Mass Effect and like going through like where this started and how this tracked and da 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 da. Because it's all there. It's all
There's
fucking
so
like,
much.
It's so detailed. It's
Yeah. But back to the ending. So
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's us.
It's us. So yeah, I always go for the synthesis ending. It seems like the best option. It's kind of laid out that way too. Like I don't think that you're meant to think that the other two are very good options.
Yeah, from what I know, that third option of synthesis is unlocked through you making the different connections through the galaxy and like understanding both sides. Like the main example being Corian and Geth is like you kind of get both sides of that struggle. In my opinion, anyway, that's kind of how it feels to me. It's like your understanding in the galaxy has grown as much as it can as far as being able to kind of see all sides of the argument in a sense, because you have collected a crew that represents all sides of the argument. You have Turians and oh god, what's Morden's race?
The Solarians.
Yeah, you have Turian and Solarian on the same ship as a Krogan.
A Krogan. Mm-hmm.
So it's like you talk to all three of them and you go, okay, I get why you did the genophage. However, I get why you're mad at the genophage. And you have Legion and Tali on your ship, so you go, okay, I get why the Quarian hate the Geth. I also get why the Geth did what they did to Quarians. Also. And same with like human and Turian, and just you can make the connections either way on that shit as far as like the arguments and whatnot. But I think what ultimately comes to is that and again the big broad picture of the game. I think what they were ultimately setting up is going. It's not about one way or the other way. It's about finding what is the best path for everybody. Like what works. Like maybe this isn't perfect for everyone all around, but what is the best way to make things work for everyone here? What is the option that can take in all considerations, basically?
And being completely unselfish. I think that's what it is. Making the non-selfish decision too.
Yeah, the ultimate sacrifice is the least selfish sacrifice, which I also like. And then again, I know there's a way to do it without, but just like basically every option in some way has Shepard sacrificing themselves, no matter what. He has to jump into the pit. He has to blow something up that could possibly kill him. He has to relinquish control and give his consciousness over to the Reapers to take control of the Reapers. There's always there is an ultimate sacrifice that must be made at the end of the game, and I really really love that. I really really do. I think it's such a beautiful send off to the trilogy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I love the ending. I really like the ending.
That's
the
it.
ending.
It's just it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful ending. And it's just there's such I don't know. We kind of covered a little bit, but it's just there's such beauty to me in the three choices at the end there. They really love. Well, four technically, but like.
Yeah. Well,
who's intentionally picking four? I picked four once because I was just like. I'm just gonna see what happens if I just keep saying no. You know,
there's like the three choices and then like the Hamlet choice.
The ultimate emo option. He's like, no, fucking kill him, but I don't give a shit. Like,
that's funny. I don't have anything else I think to say except y'all, if y'all haven't played this game, buy it when it drops. It's coming out just a little bit after this episode will drop. You can pre-order it and you can have it downloaded. What day does it come out? Do we know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know it's coming out soon. I want to say beginning of May.
Yeah, it's very, very soon. It's the first couple of weeks of May. You gonna look it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
I'll vamp for time.
Thank you.
So, just you should play this game. Honestly, you should play this game. If you haven't played all three of them, you should download it and you should play it. It's gonna be probably like a $60 game. That's 3 games for the price of 1. What a deal! Have you gotten that date yet, Jordan?
I do. I have it. So, Mass Effect Legendary drops May 14th.
Perfect.
So you've got less than a month for it to come out, and I will say, and
well, less than a month from recording, but about 2 weeks from when this drops.
You are correct. So 2 weeks from when this episode comes out is when the game is actually going to come out.
We're coming to you from the past.
And I will say, and this might fuck with some shit because it's not going to be good for sales or whatever. If you have Game Pass on Xbox, that now comes with all the EA titles. So Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 are already free on Game Pass. So if you do want to play these and you don't want to drop more money for the Legendary Edition, you can play through them right now. However, the Legendary Edition is $60, 3 games, all the DLC. We're not sponsored.
We're not sponsored.
We're not sponsored or anything like that. This is literally just me trying to say like this is a fucking good deal. Hence why I have now I have my pre-order in for the Legendary Edition, and this is the 5th time I've bought Mass Effect.
Yeah. I was gonna say, for some of us that have not me included, because I came in later, but for some people who've been playing these games since like the beginning, it's like the 5th time you're shelling out money for these games.
I have put so much money into Mass Effect. It's ridiculous how many times I've bought these fucking games.
That's okay. I'm going to be shelling out money for the HD versions of all of the Zelda titles that are coming out later this year, so...
Right. So that concludes our discussion for the Mass Effect trilogy. Thank you guys so much for listening to us talk about these games and how much we love them. What did you guys think about Mass Effect 3? Was it an epic conclusion or a total flop like a giant Reaper dick? How did you save the galaxy? Which option did you choose? And should we talk about Mass Effect again after we play through the Legendary Edition? Please let us know.
And also, if you have any ideas for future discussions on our show, you can send us an email at 3vopodcastteam@gmail.com, and you can give us your ideas. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 3VO Podcast. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to our show. It really does make a difference, and we really do appreciate every single one. And we'll see you next time. Bye.